Hello. Welcome to Tuning In. And boy, are we excited today as we do the integration and the embodiment of this amazing light being that we are calling the Divine One. Well, I guess she called herself that, right, Trish?
Pretty much.
Uh, so today we also have a guest besides our dear, lovely Susanne Joie, in Patricia Wald-Hopkins. And so we're each going to bring forth a little bit to support this integration of this energy so that we can start tapping into this archetype more and more in our own life, in our own living and loving and leading. So, uh, would you do the honors to share a little bit, Suzanne, about the prime gifts and this is going to be using the Gene Keys profile that has been created by Richard Rudd, and you can get more information on that below in the links.
So the prime gifts of the Divine One, her prime, like life's work, is moving from superficiality, and that's our humanness, right? The superficiality. But what's birthed out of being superficial is self-assurance, and the citic state, or the highest state of consciousness, is presence.
Mm.
Now, the programming partner to that, and the what we call the evolution of this Divine One, is moving from our human sense of force to the gifts of strength through that citic state, or the divine state of majesty. So just think about the crown, right? And the pathway, or the breakthrough, is through her radiance of what she's radiating out. And as a human, we might see something that we would call weakness. But as a Divine One, the gift of it is equality. And the citic state, or the high essence, is tenderness. And then as we follow down into the purpose and we really anchor it into the earth, her beautiful purpose is moving from exhaustion, which we all can relate to resolve. And it's through the act in the citic state of divine will.
Mm.
So just imagine, feel into the essence of those words, from presence to majesty to tenderness and to divine will. We are anchoring those gifts of self-assurance, strength, equality, and resolve.
Yummy. And as the creatrix, and let's just call you the birth mother of these beautiful pillars of light, for the School of Light Collective, Trish, would you care to share a little bit about this energy? What is it coming? What is it being calling forth from us at this time?
So what I'm present to is this higher octave that the collective is on the verge, or is already in the process of incorporating into the world. And this Divine One is a messenger, or a master teacher, or a mentor, a guide. It's an energy that supports the human, the humans that we are, to access that higher octave of presence here on the planet. Like a lot of what I'm seeing is that it's almost like the purpose is divine will, which is, for me and in many, is like associated with Archangel Michael and his sword of truth, which is really bringing you into full alignment with your soul essence, right? It's bringing you, and it's anchoring you. Heaven the divine presence, slowing you down, bringing you into this state of self-assurance where you really, really, really know who you are. And it's just like, woo, all the way down into your root. And you're following the path of your soul, your essence, and that majesty, that evolutionary piece that just gives you more and more of that strength to stay in that higher octave. And then what radiates out into the world is just this, that sacred energy of tenderness, which is the Holy Family. Right? And I get chills when I think of that, but being held by the Holy Family. And so that is what this pillar of light, or this light being that came to me way back whenever we started creating this school of light. And that's what she wanted me to share with you.
God, I love that. So there's there's no accidents that we started this process of deep diving into each of these 5 pillars of the school. What, August or something? We covered truth teller, we covered the wisdom keeper, we covered the ecstatic leader, and what's the 4th one? And now the divine one. Missing one. And the interesting thing to me is the exquisite timing of how we have taken 5 sessions to talk about, or episodes to talk about a deeper dive, kind of doing that spiral that's in your background, Trish, right? We're going in and in and in. And in doing so, embodying more and more of that majestic, divine presence. And what I'm wondering is, what would be supportive to each of us to remember this? Because I know we on some level know this, but we forget our connection. We forget our brilliance, And what I'm wondering is, how do we get back to that place of being loving? Thoughts? Susanne, Trish?
I feel that it's in that silence, in that pregnant silent space. Agreed. Where you empty out the cup, the chalice, so that it can be filled again with the light. Right? And I see the light behind you, Susanne.
Yeah. That pregnant pause. Just what I enjoyed. Thank you for having your expressions on your face during that moment, because I could see the energy welling up within you, and it was pretty darn lovely.
Yeah, it's being still. And when we can quiet the noise and we can be in that presence of our own divinity, of our connection to source, that's where the strength comes from. Mm-hmm. And that's where we literally radiate out tenderness from the divine. I mean, and it is about divine will. And from, when I feel into it, it is about timing. And so there's no need to push or force. Remember, set your crown back on. There's no need to force. It's all a part of the process. It is the strength of being a divine one, and know that you are fully supported and connected, as above, so below. And so there's no need to sweat. It's all present here for us.
There's that majestic thing that every time I'm playing with my gene key, because it shows up in my profile as well as Trisha's and yours too, Suzanne. I just keep saying, of course, it's done. Of course. And thanks be. It's kind of like it's a given. So why am I spun up on trying to make it happen?
Yeah, sit back in your throne and just receive.
Yeah.
Receptivity has been a big one for me this whole process. And I think that's been my biggest lesson because I can feel when I soften into that receptive space. And it's also, I had Suzanne and I were playing the other day about the Carolyn Meese book, Anatomy of a Spirit. And one of the spiritual truths when you get to the throat chakra was about surrendering personal will to divine will. And, I read that book, 30 years ago, but it came forward in this last month and I'm like, surrender personal will. And it's another part of that majesty. It's another part of the divine one. It's another part of this whole energy that I think she is bringing forward. And we need to get out of our own way by trying to make something happen that we have no idea what is in store for us. Why are we trying to create something pushing against, so.
Yeah. There's something about the divine one showing us how to be in flow, in flow state, right? Rather than in push, force. And it's all about that, right? The tug from the sacral, right? And that's where where to flow. But it carries you. So it's like it's that totally different navigation system that Richard Red often talks about. And lots of, other people have spoken about, but I really feel like the divine one is guiding us gently to relax and drop all of our guises and all of those to-dos and all of that craziness that we get wrapped up in, especially this time of year.
Yeah.
And to go with the flow, and then be held in that energy of majesty and with your families and that tenderness of being with the family like a holy family where you're held by the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine, or the divine masculine, the divine feminine. There's different aspects to both those, and when you're held like that, you can follow your true path, right? Because you feel supported. Yeah, it feels so good.
Well, and I want to bring in Suzanne's. I wish you would share what you wore to that party over the weekend because it reminds me of Joie from Inside Out.
So I was psyching myself up to go to this party because we've been so busy over long periods of time, over the several weekends. And I was like, oh, we're going to another party. And I was like, oh. And then I was like, oh, come on, sister, you got this. So I took a shower and I came out and I go, that's it. I know. And I colored my hair with bright chalk. And it was purple and blue. And then I got all fancy in a blue velour dress with some purple tights and just showed up as me. And, I can't care really about what people think, but I needed to do it for me. And it feels good to be me and not, put on any kind of I just had to feel my fullness. So I got to feel my fullness.
And in a playful, joyful, innocent, childlike way. It was just, that's what I find so fascinating because sometimes I get really tired of adulting and I have forgotten, and you help me remember, thank you, Susanne, this the playful side. So I wish I had purple tights. I'm like, I have to go out and get some now. So anyway, how do we want to close this integration, this activation, this embodiment? Oh, yes, please.
So as we close, let us take a peek at Patricia Wald-Hopkins,
I know her.
her Infinite Self Oracle deck, and just see what's calling forth with the Divine One, what wants to be shared at this juncture for whoever is listening at this very present moment. So. Of course. So this is Gaia. And this is the Earth Fairy Goddess, and it's about fertility and well-being. And she is transmitting the frequencies of the great warrior strength and deep unconditional love to activate your DNA and cellular tissues to balance and heal and harmonize and align with the power of Gaia. Bloodstone, hematite, and turquoise. Spikenard, vetiver, and sandalwood are all good tools to align yourself. And I can put this card in our recording.
That'd be awesome. Closing. Any prayers of or channeled messages from the Divine One herself, or anything else I don't know shoulds, we want to bless ourselves and our listeners with?
It's not a word, but it's a movement. And it's
I've
just
seen
reminding me, it's just the spiral, right? The go deeper into you, right? Deeper, bringing down that divine essence all the way down into your root, into Mama Gaia.
Yeah.
That's what I receive.
I saw you moving earlier and I was like, I know what she's doing. Yeah. And that's another thing is I think very often, especially the more steep or whatever our spiritual path gets, we get so serious and we get so out here that we are not grounding this amazing energy that we get to bring down to earth, give to Gaia, share with each other. So thank you for remembering the root and pulling us back down and in. Love that. Closing thoughts, anybody else? Except may peace be with each of you and many, many, many blessings during this time of year. May you find stillness and silence and space for you. Thanks, B. Yes, deep bow, right?